Islam in India is often portrayed as a byproduct of the 16th century Persian Mughal Empire, but if you look past the Taj Mahal and Jama Masjid of Agra and Delhi, you find that Islam's roots actually run far deeper in other parts of the country. The claim that the Mughal Empire is responsible for the spread of Islam in the subcontinent is often made by far-right, Hindu or Indian, nationalists, and has contributed to the common misconceptions that Islam is a recent phenomenon in South Asia, and that it spread from the north of the country to the south. However, evidence suggests that the religion first reached the shores of the Gujarati Konkan and Malabar coasts, in the south, almost 1,000 years earlier, in the 7th century, through trade in the Indian Ocean with East African and Arab merchants. One of the oldest mosques in the world, Chirman Juma Mosque, is thought to have been built during the time of the Prophet Muhammad in Kerala, in the south of the country, in 629 AD, and a few years later the Palaya Jumapali Masjid was built in Tamil Nadu. In this video, I want to concentrate on a part of India that is often overlooked in discussions of Islam. This place is called Gujarat. Sitting on the Arabian Sea, Gujarat is the most western state of India. Centuries of migration have seen it become a cosmopolitan melting pot. The state's diverse religious and ethno-linguistic communities are reflected in both Gujarati architecture and the Gujarati language, which is interlaced with Persian, Arabic, Swahili, and Sanskrit. Gujaratis, well known for their influence in trade and business, were prime merchants in the Indian Ocean in the centuries prior to the emergence of the British East India Company. Gujarat includes the region of Kutch, Saurashtra and the territories between the rivers Banas and Damanganga. Islam came early to Gujarat, with Arab merchants. Most came as traders as they did before Islam and were even allowed by the local rulers to build a masjid during the times of the Prophet Muhammad and in other parts of the western seacoast of India as early as the 7th century CE, spreading Islam soon as the religion gained a foothold in the Arabian Peninsula. In the 10th century, Ibn Hawqal, a Muslim Arab geographer and chronicler, even observed mosques in 4 cities of Gujarat that had Hindu kings, namely, Kambe, Kutch, Samer, and Patan. The term Gujarati Muslim is usually used to signify a native Indian Muslim from the state of Gujarat and western coast of India. Most Gujarati Muslims have Gujarati language as their mother tongue. The Gujarati Muslims are further subdivided into groups, such as the Sunni Vora/Bora, Ismaili, Khoja, Dawoodi Bora, Memon, Surti, Mian Bai, Patan people/Hansotis, Khatri, Gonki, and Sheepa, each with their own customs and traditions. The region of Kutch has always been historically distinct, with the Muslims there accounting for about 20% of the population. This region is characterized by salt deserts, such as the Run of Kutch. Because of this landscape, the Kutch Muslims are Maldhari pastoral nomads found in the Bani region of Kutch. Most of them are said to have originated in Sindh and speak a dialect of Kutchi which has many Sindhi loanwords. Major Maldhari communities include the Sumra, Sandhali Muslims, Jats, Halepotra, Hingora, Hingaria, Junaja. The other important Muslim community is the Keshawari Memon community, that migrated and resettled beyond Gujarat. Coastal Gujarat is home to Urdu-speaking communities such as those of Hansot and Ulpad. Hansot Muslims are divergent genotypically in that their mtDNA is of greater foreign origins in comparison to the Y-DNA of other communities. The Gujarat coastline is also home to significant numbers of Sidi, otherwise known as Zanji or Abshi, descendants of Africans, for example Royal Hapshis or Bantu peoples from Southeast Africa that were brought to the Indian subcontinent as slaves by the Portuguese and British. Siddhis are primarily Sufi Muslims, although some are Hindus and others Roman Catholic Christians. Malik Ambar, a prominent military figure in Indian history at large, remains a figure of veneration to the Muslim Siddhis of Gujarat. Over the course of history, a number of famous Arab travelers, scholars, Sufi saints and geographers who visited India, have described the presence of thriving native Muslim communities scattered along the Konkan Gujarat coast. Suleiman of Basra, who reached Tana in 841 AD, observed that the Rashtrakuta Empire, which extended from Bharuch to Shaul during his time, was on friendly terms with the native Muslims and the Arab Muslims, and Balhara kings appointed Arab merchant princes as governors and administrators in their vast kingdom. Ibn Hawqal, a 10th century Muslim Arab geographer and chronicler, while on his travels observed that mosques flourished in 4 cities of Gujarat that had Hindu kings, with mosques being found in Kambe, Kutch, Samer, and Patan, alluding to an atmosphere where Muslim foreigners were assimilated into the local milieu of medieval Gujarati societies. His well-known Iranian contemporary Astaqri, the Persian medieval geographer who traveled to Kambe and other regions of Gujarat during the same period, echoed the words spoken by his predecessors alongside his itineraries. Al-Masudi, an Arab historian from Baghdad who was a descendant of Abdullah ibn Masud, a companion of Prophet Muhammad, traveled to Gujarat in 918 CE and bore written witness account that more than 10,000 Arab Muslims from Siraf, Persia, Madha in Oman, Hadramaut in Yemen, Basra, Baghdad, and other cities in the Middle East, had settled in the seaport of Chamor, a port close to Baruch. Early 14th century Moroccan adventurer, Ibn Battuta, who visited India with his entourage, recalls in his memoirs about Cambay, one of the great emporia of the Indian Ocean, that indeed Cambay is one of the most beautiful cities as regards the artistic architecture of its houses and the construction of its mosques. The reason is that the majority of its inhabitants are foreign merchants, who continually build their beautiful houses and wonderful mosques, an achievement in which they endeavor to surpass each other. The eminent city of Surat, which was home to Surti Muslims, and famous for its cargo export of silk and diamonds, had come on a par with contemporary Venice and Beijing, which were some of the great mercantile cities of Europe and Asia, and earned the distinguished title, Bab al-Makkah, Gate of Mecca, because it is one of the great places of the subcontinent where ancient Hindus welcomed Islam, and it flourished as time went on. Gujarati Muslims are very prominent in industry and medium-sized businesses, and there is a very large Gujarati Muslim community in Mumbai. A very large number of this community migrated to Pakistan in 1947 and have settled in Sindh province, especially in Karachi. Having earned a formidable accolade as some of India's greatest seafaring merchants, the centuries-old Gujarati diaspora is found scattered throughout the Near East, Indian Ocean and Southern Hemisphere regions, everywhere in between Africa and Japan, with a notable presence in Hong Kong, Britain, Portugal, Canada, Réunion, Oman, Yemen, Mozambique, Zanzibar, United Arab Emirates, Burma, Madagascar, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Pakistan, Zambia, and East Africa. Gujarati Muslim merchants played a historically important role in facilitating the Portuguese discovery of the East Indies, in spreading and propagating Islam to the Far East, and some believe that the British discovery of Africa was based on their exclusive maps of their trade network. In Southeast Asia, Malays referred to the Islamic elite among them by the noble title of Adhirajas. The Sufi trader, Sheikh Randarai, Sheikh Ranari, who was from a Gujarati Muslim family, was responsible for spreading Islam in Indonesia. He was the most prolific of the authors of the Achinese court, and helped contribute to its international reputation as a center of scholarship. His work was considered the oldest Muslim scholarship of Southeast Asia. Surti merchants in particular also pioneered the use of scientific concepts and invented structural and mechanical advances in technology for the nation building of Mauritius, such as introducing hydroelectric power to the people of Mauritius. If history proves that Muslims of India are just natives as much as other Indian people, and the difference is just a matter of faith, which everyone has the right to choose what to believe and not same as our origin or ethnicity, such things we cannot choose them, as we simply don't control where we will be born or which skin color we will have. So why then still there are so much tensions and conflicts on a daily basis in Gujarat between Muslims and Hindus if these people are same? In the decades since partition, and in recent years, communal tensions and violence have flared up periodically in Gujarat. Since 1950, over 10,000 people have been killed in Muslim-Hindu communal violence, with horrific events such as the Bombay riots, 1992, and Gujarat riots, 2002, still heavily imprinted in recent memory. The cause of the unrest is often attributed to the multitude of diverse communities living in close proximity. However, this is a gross simplification that ignores the role of colonialism in instigating communal violence by emphasizing religious differences and splitting India based on that. This colonial legacy, alongside increased saffronization of the Indian government and increased Hindutva mobilization, has led to Muslim minority groups being attacked as outsiders or invaders to support the idea of a Hindu Rashtra, nation. This ideology tries to omit the centuries-long existence and contribution of Muslims within Gujarat and the Indian subcontinent. Though there are no doubt numerous means by which this contribution can be demonstrated, i.e. social, lingual, economic, culinary. For example, did you know that biryani is not actually Indian in roots but was introduced by immigrants from Iran? There are a number of Islamic monuments within Gujarat that reflect the presence of Islam and the contribution of Muslims in India before, during, and after the reign of the Mughals. In recent years, right-wing hardliners have sought to politicize monuments by calling into question their true antecedents. The lazy attribution of Islam to the Mughals, and the limiting of its contribution in India to the Taj Mahal, though, bizarrely, even this is being challenged, is not difficult to refute, and when invented histories and political narratives are being used to challenge the rights and existence of minority communities, it must be refuted. In Gujarat, Monuments such as Champaner Pavaga demonstrate the existence of Islam in India prior to the Mughal rule, and the architecture of Lakshmi Vilas Palace represents its influence and contribution more than 1,000 years since it arrived on the shores of the Indian Ocean.